All right, good morning. Happy December 1st, 2025. How is everybody? I hope you're all well. Hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. If you didn't, well, be thankful for something. You have breath. That's kind of what I base mine on, and I'm happy Papa still loves me, and even though I'm a bad boy, but you can't be good. God's the only one good, right? So, yeah, crazy. Well, the solar wind has picked up a little bit, just a tiny. It's only 451. Proton density's at 2. We've had a huge X 1.97 flare, was it? Let me see what it was. Yeah, an X 1.999. Okay, basically a 2. An X2 that happened at 300 hours, or basically 2:30 it started. And it wasn't, how do I say this? It wasn't on an Earth-facing flare or a sunspot, and it was from a sunspot that didn't look like it was going to be able to do that. It just all of a sudden went, and it blew up. And I got a really pretty cool picture to show you here. Yeah, let me show you that picture, man. Yeah, there's a little boomer right here off to the side here. We've been watching this happen for a better part of 2 weeks. Now, if you remember, we had a bunch of X flares, like 3 or 4 of them here, like 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, maybe a little, yeah, somewhere like that, about 20 some days ago. And it screamed through, right? Well, guess what? On the other side, it didn't stop. It was boom, 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 boom. And as soon as it gets right here to the corner, it let off another one. And that's not the one that I'm concerned about, is this one down here on the bottom that looks like has a little bit more problems. Also, you see that little big old electromagnetic pulse coming off the sun right there. Hey, this stuff's huge. What's happening today? So, looking back at the solar wind, 451 proton densities. It had a C6 and an X1 in the last 24 hours. There's a pretty good sized corona hole. It should get us around the 4th and the 5th. This one here. This is that sunspot. When this picture was taken, it was right there. And you could see the other ones here. These ones here are kind of dying out. They had enough energy for M's, but they just never produced it. And but this X big old monster here, Timmy texted me last night when it happened, and I go, really? I'm going to sleep, man. I want to try. I was not feeling the greatest. Might have been the pumpkin pie that I ate the day before Thanksgiving, and it just didn't have a really good time of it from that time on. I didn't throw up or anything. It just, didn't feel right the whole weekend. And I stopped eating that. I stopped eating the turkey, and I'm starting to feel better. So there you go. It's an apple pie, though. Yeah, boy. And apple pie to the rescue. Anyway, pretty far out stuff. So the BZ's a little bit in the north right now, I guess. Let's go ahead and check this out on Space Weather Live. It's just in the south, barely in the south. I expected this to jump pretty dramatically into the south, and it just hadn't. On this day in history, 2001, we had an M6 and an M4 and an M3, right? And that was 2001. And in 1960, we had a G4 geomagnetic storm. 61, we had a G4. In 23, we had a G3. So it appears that when we're happening, it's a happening. Well, the last M flare we had was on the 29th of November. Here we are on the 1st of December, and we already have an X this one. The last geomagnetic storm was on the 25th of November. It was a G1. Not real powerful, but still all the same. And here's the X-ray you'll see right here. Right? This M, I think he texted me, was an M that came in. And then a couple more M's right afterward. Boom, boom, boom. And then this big old X. As it's going around the corner. She'll be coming around the mountain. Well, here we go. Giant sunspot here. Check it out, man. Giant sunspot, right? Huge. Here's another one. These are on the southern hemisphere of the sun. Right? There's that little burnt, and this one's down here that we're talking about here. Right? So looking at those, one of the biggest sunspots in the past 10 years is occurring right now. It measures 180,000 kilometers and has at least 5 dark cores, individually larger than Earth. These dimensions make it easy to target for a safety-filled backyard telescopes. If you don't have one, you can buy one. And can you see Carrington? This is a very good chance for a Carrington event to happen soon. All right? With the activity that it was been popping off big time on the backside of the sun. Looking at Lascaux here. Here's a shorty. Lascaux 2. Did you see that? Yeah, that was the X flare. A lot of plasma shot off. Right? Boom. Look at that. Yep. And we got shielded a bit. You can see it comes out about this far. We got it shielded because we're about center of the disc. So we're going to get you a little bit of something from this. But that was a pretty good little boomer. You can see the camera right before. Right? Bam. That's when it hit. And then the big one took off at about 3 o'clock. And it almost made a halo. So that's a pretty good little plasmatic push. Let's see if NOAA has anything to say about it. I don't know. We'll check it out. Should come off the side here. The plasma on the top, wind on the bottom. There it is. Poof. Yeah, there was 2 of them. Yeah, it won't affect us, but it'll create some solar wind. That's what's going to say. Some plasmatic solar wind. And we'll catch it later this week. It'll increase this week, and the wind's going to die down and then pick right back up. Probably around the 6th there, it's predicted. Yeah. So, pretty good little Paparini, wasn't it? If we look at it like that. Here you go. Ready? Boof, right there. See how good that one was? These things were banging pretty hard all over the last 2 weeks. So we have to expect that that's what's going to happen. Closing down Lascaux. And looking up, so the solar wind is going to pick up here. We got a little bit of sunspot here in the middle too. So this little booger here, these are the boogers down here that they're talking about that could pose a real big issue for us. All of these, boom, 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 right? A whole series of them. 4294, 4295, and 4296 all pose threats for X flares. Now get this. All of them pose chances, right? Now, I'm sure all these other guys are going to make all these predictions, and then kind of create fear for you. Don't worry about it. We've encountered X flares before, and these aren't. They're dangerous. That's all you can say, man. Don't fly in a plane anytime soon. Over the next week, and Diesel, be careful, buddy. And it'll be in the southern hemisphere. So we're in the winter now. So our side's kind of turned away from the sun, but the bottom half of the planet's turned toward the sun. So there's that effect. And it'll, it'll buzz them. Yeah, I knew you were there, buddy. Yeah, this next week might be interesting for you. Um, See if you can work from home more, because we've got about a week and a half of X flares happening. And I think we'll probably get 3 or 4 of them, if not 6. Because this little bugger right up here, they didn't even know it, man. It's like, nah, that thing's fine. Boom! It just kicked off an X2. At the end of the week, all right, bud. Yeah, nice. Because the more flight hours you have, he flies a lot. Good on him. Anyway, KP is about 4. It's unsettled right now. I don't even know if it really is a 4. Nah, it's at a 2. It was at a 4. It's at a 2. That's what I thought. And close these 2 down. Whoop! Hey, stop that. Some ad popped in here, huh? Pop up. 7 fireballs over the last 24 hours over North America, which is Canada, U.S., and Mexico. 70% chance for an M, 20 now for an X. I think that's going to pick up pretty dramatically, especially when there's 4 sunspots, 5 sunspots that can produce X flares. I don't recall last time we had that many sunspots able to do that. Let's grind more beans. More coffee beans, huh? Yeah, zing, zing, zing. Like that coffee song. Coffee, 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 coffee. Yeah, I didn't play it today, but, some people might get a little bit, butthurt. Anyway, 12-1. 12-1, here we go. There's only 2 rocks out there. One is huge. Wow, it's 660 feet across. That's right. A big old rock, 660 feet across. And it's about 4 million miles away. It kind of good that sucker's that far away. There's a lot of talk about Atlas 3 or whatever, and how it broke up. It broke up into 16 pieces. And Avi Loeb, I think is his name, physicist or space guy, he believes it's a spaceship. Maybe. Buck Rogers. Anyway, and there's another rock out there that's 60 feet across. It's roughly 2 million miles. Okay, so the big in there, yeah, that's the biggest one for. Let me see. Yeah, there's only one other one that's larger, and that one's not much larger though, about 15 feet larger. So this is one of 2 largest rocks out there that are traveling in our vicinity, and they've known about it for quite some time. Let's go ahead and check it out. Right, and there we go. Right, so zooming in, right, you can see, it crosses our plane of all. Most of the planets have a little existence in a plane, right? You can see Uranus and Saturn, and I don't know if I'm dead on, maybe pretty close to that. And they're relatively flying around the same latitude as the sun. But this rock, look how it's this way. And generally, I think that those rocks that do that generally end up hitting something. And but because we're safe, you can see how it passes underneath us. Then on the other side, it passes up and over us. And I don't know when that sucker could hit something else like Venus, passes over Venus and then down underneath Venus, and I don't know how close, right there, in its trajectory. But you can tell that, you know, it goes around the sun this way, but it's definitely goes well below all of our planets, then pretty far up and above. So, in our plane of existence. And so, boom, boom. 2007 VM 184. Huge rock. Yeah. And let me see the other one. That's going to be later this month. 2005 WA3. This is a new rock. Wow. They've only seen it. 44 total visits or data days. So the data arc span is 7 days. So when did they discover this one? November 23. First observation used. Solution date, they found a solution date on today. Okay, cool. Let's go and find this one. It's pretty big into as well. It has a more flat version of us, and almost identical, to tell you the truth. Yeah, almost identical. So I bet you it was part of a big giant asteroid or something that broke apart. Yeah, that's what I think. And to find out a rock that's 660 feet across, and they just found out this year, it's like, oh, Raggy. So yeah. Anyway, so that's happening. Yeah. 70% chance for an M, 20 now for an X. And all of these have power for X flares. Yeah. 95, 96, 94. Yeah. 94, 95, and 96. So there's 3 of them that have an ability for X flares. So yeah, ding, 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 ding. Keep an eye out. What's going on? If you're looking for Uranus, see it in the mornings, early at night. You can see here's Earth, here's Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune. So you should be able to see these. Saturn, I don't think you can see, it says. It's probably on the lower horizon. Only if you're on the backside of the planet. I don't know. I don't know how it works, but whatever. Figure it out. Anyway, let's look at tremors of yesterday. And there's pretty fair amount of tremors happening up here by Eugene, and then down here in the north of the Trinity National Forest again, Klamath. The Klamath Block is an ancient part of North America. Klamath, I think, is part of a... no, it's not an isthmus. It's a peninsula, like Florida. You know how you look at Florida and it kind of comes down. Well, part of the United States that's old does that as well. Pokes out here and comes back. All right, it's ancient United States, ancient North America. Yeah, when Mexico was down here connected. Yeah, we should have class again this Thursday. That would be fun. There is a video. I don't know if you all seen it, but I seen it. Pretty good. Pretty good information. And breaking down stuff. So I think this month he's going to start to move off of Bob Hildebrand and start to talk about some other things. Because now I think we're going to go into an E or something. So looking at that. So looking at the buoys, any drunk Chinaman out there to speak of? I don't see any. I think the earthquakes have been kind of tame. Tame meaning not a whole lot of them, except for the 6 that happened in Alaska over the weekend. And I think there was one other 6 as well. And, well, we're talking about earthquakes, and might as well go ahead and look at the MSC, see if it's working today. Some people were complaining it wasn't working for them, but seems to be working now. Go back about 12 hours. And we're looking, Tonga popped in with a 5. Boom, boom, right there. Yeah. Looking for 4s and above. Or interesting earthquakes. Here's a 4.6 in southern Iran. Right? And by Bandar Abbas. I think that's Bandar Abbas. Yeah. Hindu Kush region popped with a 4.3 at 200 depth. So that's way down there in the plate, boy, way down there. Northern Sumatra seems to be banging away a little bit. The Mona Passage, 3.3. Mona Passage is down here between the DR and Puerto Rico. When we see activity here, we can expect an earthquake on this boundary, plate boundary. Because there's movement. Yeah. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Looked like we had Ecuador near the coast, 4.3. Yeah, and that's kind of where it happens because this thing is not working. So we see that happen quite often. 4.3 near the coast of Ecuador. 4.2 near the coast of northern Peru. So it dropped south a little bit, right? So we had a 4.3, now we have a 4.2 going south. And northern Cal did a 3.3. Where's this one? And yeah, we better take a look at that one. Let's go ahead, USGS. Yeah, right down in here. Looks like we got a little bit of a swarm building up here too. Kenwood, California, 3.3, 2.7, 2.9, 3.1. I got to think that that's on the Macama Fault or, yeah, just south of Santa Rosa. Let's check this out. It's working up into the Macama Fault anyway. Maybe the Santa Rosa Fault. All right, so pumping up here. Rogers Creek Fault, that's when it's on. And then it turns into the Macama Fault. You can see Rogers Creek has a D in the name. You see that? Yeah, that's how you say it. Yeah. Alexander Valley. Bennett. Let's try to find out exactly where it was. All right, here's Santa Rosa, Sonoma Mountains. Yeah, it's over by Sonoma. Nah, just Sonoma Mountains. Lawndale, Ronhart Park, Cotati, Cotati, Waldrew Heights, Valley of the Moon, Sebastopol. Some Withens over there. Yeah. It killed me battery. Killed my battery. Yeah. Dangum cold. Yep. Let's go ahead and try to find out where the hell it is. All right, go like this. Go to faults. One little back. Come on. Yeah, just to the west of it. East of it, I'm sorry. Rogers Creek Fault. So it's just out here. Right out here where Bennett Fault Valley Zone, right? So right out here in Sonoma Mountains. Here's a bad Mamma Jamma. This one here turns into the Macama Fault. Yeah, main faults systems, San Andreas, which kind of dies out right here just off the coast. And then we have Macama Fault, and then this one out here. Yeah. Quaternary faults. You can see they move all the way up into Eureka. Interesting there when we're looking at the tremors, right? We're seeing Eureka buzzing around, right? We're also seeing quite a lot of activity here in the Klamath National Forest and Salmon, area here. This is Scotts Valley. Then we look here and we go back, right, where these earthquakes are happening. They seem to be happening on these quaternary faults. These vibrations, right? Right up in here. Humboldt, right? Ross Fault, Freshwater Fault, Eaton Rose Fault, the Salmon Fault, right? There's some subduction, some thrust faulting that goes on up here. Lots of it, right? Eaton Rugs. So these faults lead right into what? The Cascades. All right. So vibrations happening right up in here. And we have some earthquakes happening right up in here. And then I showed last week several earthquakes right here on the San Andreas, several earthquakes on the Calaveras Fault, some on the Hayward Fault, a lot on the San Andreas down here, some on the Gilroy Fault or the Calaveras Fault down here. Then we also seen the creep happening down here, and then down here, of course. And then we seen them on the White Wolf Fault and the Searless Valley there. And lots of activity telling us that there's movement, and it's constant. It's not dissipating. If I went and showed you, we don't see anything higher than what was going on last week. We had a bunch of 4s. It looked like California moved at a 4 level. Most of California. And so if I went and looked at the settings and did 30 days and then just kind of zoomed in for you, you'll see we have a little bit of a swarm down here, a little bit down here in Santa Benito. We have a little over here, right? And this is San Juan Bautista. And then we have some in Gilroy, right? And then we have the San Ramon. We also have the Pacifica. And now we have this one, kicking up. So, and of course, the volcano up here is vibrating because they're pumping poop down in the ground. Now, we can't differentiate them pumping poop and legitimate earthquakes. But they're pretty stupid for playing around with it. And you can see the creep happening, right? And there is a quake up here. It's a 2.3 up in here. A couple of quakes out here that happened. Zooming out off the coast of Oregon, along the coast of Oregon. This is another cascade quake at 2.8. These aren't considered cascade quakes, but they're considered strike slip faults, and they don't seem to have produced anything down here in Medford. But these other ones are telling us that there's a whole lot of movement, even right here on the Macama Fault. Right? A whole lot of movement on the Macama Fault. A whole lot on the Calaveras, on the Hayward. Right? And the San Andreas, moving substantially on the San Andreas in this area that seems to pop more than anywhere else on the San Andreas. On the San Andreas, not adjacent, but on it. Then you can see what's happening. A lot of activity through coming off of Elsinore onto the San Jacinto, and then onto the San Andreas and back into the desert, where the desert in the last 50 years has moved some 30 feet. Yeah. 17 feet, 16 feet, and 15 feet. Right? So that's darn near 40 feet in 50 years. The entire Southern California desert, the Mojave, where I live, and where Skeeter lives. I don't think Skeeter's in the Sonora, but Mojave kind of comes out this way. Halamarahara, 4.6. Thank you, bud. Yeah, vehicle batteries kind of sucks. And never ready. Yeah. The cold is not good, especially when you got to keep your hood up because you don't want the rats to make a nest on your engine. Do you have to do that where you're at, dude? Skeeter, dude? Yeah, so you can see swarms along the San Jacinto. Yeah, you're in definitely the Mojave. Yeah, I thought so. Aren't you in Golden Valley or something? I thought you were in Golden Valley. But I could be wrong. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4 areas. Mesquite. All right. Yeah. So, yeah. That's what's happening. And this is the desert that moved some 40-something feet in 50 years. The entire desert. You can see it from space. It's moved. Yeah. Been seeing it for a long time. But anyway, back to Fiji. Fiji popped in with a 4.4 eight hours ago. 560 depth. Bang-a-dang-a-dang-a. Yeah. Also, you got a little dinger down here in Cook's Bay, 3.1. Northern Island, New Zealand. And it's funny how it's right here, but they don't want to show it. I don't get that, man. And where the hell is it? All right, so scoot down a little bit. Boom, there it is. Well, they'll show it over here, but look here. It's just how they do things. All right. So, yeah, this is closer to Fiji. All right. It's not Tonga. It's closer to Fiji, I guess. It's closer to Tonga to me, but hey, whatever. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then there's that 3.3 that we had, right? So Northern Cal had a 3.3. And then Northern Cal came back with a 2.1, then a 2.1. And they're all related. And then Fiji had it. So Washington popped in right after Northern Cal with a 2.2. Hey! Boom, boom, to boom. Mm-hmm. Western Turkey still in the mix. Still dinging away. And bing, ding, 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 ding. Guatemala says a 3.2. Northern Cal comes back with a 2.7. So that's like 5 quakes in Northern Cal, right? Here's another one, 3.1 in Northern Cal 7 hours ago. So do we make, well, 10 quakes makes a swarm, okay? That's what we all think. Continuing. Offshore Oaxaca, 3.7. Atacama, Chile, 2.7. Switzerland had a 1. Costa Rica, 4.1. All right, so Central America popping again, 4.1. New Guinea, 4.7. And then we have some pressure moving out of Halamarahara, through Sulawesi into Indonesia. Well, actually, that's by the volcanoes. 3.6, Flores region. Yeah. Where are they? Oh, over here. You know, Little Toby and Little Tolo right there. And here's Bali over here, and then Simiru over here. Interesting where that earthquake happened. So we'll have to look that one up. In fact, why don't we do it now? Okay, go to GE. Volcanoes. Okay, zoom in and out. Scrolling over here. Let's see what volcano right there. See, that's Mount Rinjani. Is that what's happening? Or was it this one over here? All right, here's a little island. I think it's the other one. Okay, so right here. Mosque. All right, so doesn't look like it's a volcano. That one does. I better make that a volcano. Save the project. It's definitely a volcano there. Here's another one. Yeah. And then there's Mount Tambora. So this earthquake happened right out here. So here's Tambora over here, which is a very dangerous volcano. You know that. Also, there's lots of volcanoes that moving through. You see a bunch of it right in here. Right. Yep. Waisano volcano is the western part of the island of Flores. Volcano. They have a lot of volcanoes in Indonesia. Much like the Cascades. Right. The volcanic arc along the islands. Right. There's more, of course, but you see, nice volcanic arc. Here's Little Tolo, Little Toi. Right there. Boom, boom, boom. They're active still. So that earthquake is not produced by a volcano, but it's close to this one. Interrelationship between volcanoes and that is pretty interesting, to tell you the truth. I find it interesting anyway. And that happened about 7 hours ago. Offshore Oaxaca 3.8, Kamchatka 4.4, Bay of Bengal 4.2, right up in here, right there, just the eastern side of India. Gora, Mexico 3.4, Oaxaca 4.0, Rio Gajito Islands, which is in Mexico. Look at this activity right up in here. Boom, 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 right? That tells you that it's pushing. The chicken leg is getting pushed. Yeah. Can't deny it. Yeah, the Atlantic Ocean is really pushing. Northern Cal come back with a 2.9. Chiapas 3.5. Couple out of Oaxaca, couple low ones. El Salvador 3.2. And Oaxaca 3.5. Oaxaca 3.4. Offshore Guerrero 3.2. Chile 3.2. Deep Chile though, 237 deep. Wow. The Azores 2.2. Right there in the middle of the Atlantic, 2.2. Puerto Rico 3-0. Northern Island, New Zealand, deep, 200 kilometers, and it's a 3-1. I don't even know if they felt that. Nobody reported it. Eastern Med with a 2.1 as well. So moving through the Med into the Atlantic is what's going on. Antofagasta, Chile did a 100 kilometer depth, 4.2. And yeah, it's inland. It's down in the mantle though. Alaska comes back with a 3-0. Yeah. The 6 happened right up in here, but these ones are responding. Colorado. Look at that. There's a 2.4 in Colorado. Hey. Let's go ahead and check. Let's check this out, man. One day all. There we go. Couple in Colorado here. We got a couple little dingers, a couple of deuces. El Morro, southern Colorado, and then up here in Walden, Colorado. It's on that northwest to southeast line that moves right into Texas, and off the coast into the Yucatan and outward. And the opposite version, the opposite way, moves right up in here into Wyoming. Right, couple singles, and continues. Okay, let's keep going. India and Bangladesh. 3s. Everything's leading into the Atlantic Ocean, I think. 3-1, Central Alaska. Costa Rica 2-5. Western Turkey, Eastern Turkeys. A couple of deuces. It's constant. I don't know when it's going to build up and it go bang. Or it's just kind of creeping. Seems like it's creeping with some sizable earthquakes. Roja, Argentina, 2.6 at 122 depth. Java had a 2.6 at 26 depth. It's on the borderline there. Zimbabwe, Sumatra, and Eastern Timor, all a bunch of 2s and 3s. So look at this. Constantly moving, right? 4.6, Halamarahara. Bang-a-dang-a-dang. More pressure moving toward Indonesia. More toward Java and Sumatra. Then up into India. And that's the earthquakes today. Let's look at the volcano news. You close some of these windows. All right, in the news today, December 1st, 2025, according to Volcano Discovery, Santa Guido, Fuego, Simiru, Shabalush, Ibu, Ducono, Rafentador, and Sangay. So we have Guatemala, we have Ecuador, we have Indonesia, we have Kamchatka, Russia, and then Indonesia, Simiru. Those are the ones that made the list. And Simiru is doing what it does normally, about 15,000. Fuego, 16,000 normal. Sangay, not seen on satellite, so his peaks of upticks of activity, and then a lull, and then upticks of activity and a lull. So that's kind of why it's it does what it does. Well, way down in Purus, 19,000. I don't think it's a very tall mountain. Purus is 15. So it's not a very big explosion, but it's been happening for some time now. And if we look at it again, Purus volcano, 15,000 foot, it's pretty tall. And let's see where there's been earthquakes around it, eh? Historical record. Right up in here. It's just south of, what the hell is that in Colombia? That Nevada del Ruiz, okay? It's just south. So Nevada del Ruiz is erupting. It doesn't stop. It's not going really big, but it's working. But Purus is erupting now, and it's connected to Ecuador, which is connected to the Galapagos, and it is on that volcanic arc that exists from Colombia to Panama to Ecuador along the plate boundary up in there. So that's where Purus is. Ibu to Kono, 7,000 at Ahalamahara, Santa Guido. Sporadic emissions. It's a 12.3 going to probably 15, 14, 13, maybe as high as 16, depending on the weather. Earthquake sensors can now detect planes flying overhead. That's crazy. So sonic booms can happen, you know, when you got a plane out there. Like, okay, every time we get a ghost quake, we ought to look to see if there's a military ships out in the region practicing, you know. I'm sorry, Timmy. Ho, ho, ho. You said it, not me. If food shits. Yeah. Well, I think Susan Mitter give Timmy the hickory so he can use it. But then again, he wears a man bun. He might not be able to use it. He's not a man yet. I'm teasing. Reventador 14. Masaya volcano, Nicaragua. Sudden small eruptions. Oh, there's a new one. Masaya volcano, Nicaragua. Let's check this one out. Maybe later. 100 meters, but it surprised everybody. I see earthquakes in the area. Just south of Managua. All right, so let's go to GE. Go back to volcanoes. Yeah, you keep wearing a man bun, you'll go bald up there. It'll pull your hair out. What was it? Masaya, Nicaragua. Why I'm going to Indonesia, I don't know. Yeah. Someday you'll graduate, be a man. Okay, looking for, here's San Jose, Nicaragua is right in here. Masaya is right there. 2,000 foot volcano. Vulcan Santiago, right here, Vulcan Masaya and Santiago. So there's 3 little boogers in here, isn't there? Save the project. And then this one. Another volcano. And this is the Greater Messiah right here. See if we can see a picture of it, eh? People looking into the volcano. Pretty far out, man. All right, so that's interesting. And Chevaluche, not identifiable, but we know it's been popping pretty good. About 10,000 feet more. 8,000 out of Aoba. I want to say that's Japan, right? I could be wrong. Let me check. Aoba volcano. Yeah, I'm definitely wrong. Vanuatu, sorry. Okay. Vanuatu's busy. Santa Guido, yeah, Guatemala. Fuego, Guatemala. Both are not strong. They're just 2,000 foot pops. I mean, if you standing by it and you heard it, we've heard it plenty of times because we watched plenty of documentaries about what's going on over there. Boom! It's like, wow, man, it's like a cannon going off. A big cannon. Yeah, and purest ongoing emissions. Ibu, okay, that's Sunday. All right, so just scanning through Sundays, Ibu and Dacono, 7 and 8,000, 15 out of that one, and that's pretty much it. All right, so, well, let's go ahead and look at the COD. COD is our weather across the states. You can see right down through the middle of the states, from Texas all the way to Minnesota, or even into North Dakota, is plenty of weather, and that weather would be cold and rainy and snow. Yep. Let's go ahead and look at the dirty. Yeah, big rain up here, and Mom, she's down. That's Kentucky. She's got the weather down here, so I think this is coming out of the. And where I'm at, it's not a whole lot right now, which is okay for now. It's just cold. Let's go ahead and look at the global. Look out west first. Okay, here's out west. Big storm off the coast, way off the coast, about 800 miles, maybe 1,000 miles. Another one coming on shore. These ones are pushing up from Mexico all the way up in through Texas. That might be the Hawaiian one, but I don't think so. Big low pressure over Hawaii. Splitting hairs. All right, so see, all of this is really just being sucked in. Let's go ahead and look at the east now. There we go. Moving on the east. Really cold air moving across above North America. So Canada's got a bunch of stuff. Now, all the south has gotten pummeled by cold weather and rain. It's not like super cold, but it's definitely the rain. Wet weather anyway. And I can't see up there by anybody else. Yeah, lots of rain coming. Yeah. Could be, bud. What else we have? Well, I think that'll do it. So, for this morning report, I want to thank you all for being here. I want you to thank you for being your subscriptions and your tips or your gratuities. Gratuities help a whole lot more, but the subscriptions we need to stay alive. But the gratuities are much better. It's TIP exclamation point or exclamation point TIP, and you can leave a gratuity there. I appreciate y'all, and this will be it. If you're over there on YouTube, I'll post this on YouTube. If you're over there on YouTube, thank you for what you're doing over there and being part of our JSL family. You can find us here on twitch.tv/JSL Live every morning, Monday through Friday, Pacific, 7 in the morning until 9, generally speaking. Sometimes we start a little early, 6, and then we'll go till 10, depending on the day. If there's not a whole lot going on, there's just not a whole lot going on. Also, we host Rabbit Holes. Rabbit Hole is basically a more in-depth discussion about topics related to earth science, and we'll be continuing those here probably sometime here in December, later this week. Generally, they go on Wednesdays and Saturdays, depending on what's happening. Sometimes we have crises and we don't do them, but I may play in pre-recorded as well. And most of the time they will be pre-recorded. So you can find us also on Rumble, on the Dilemma, and you'll see us there, Dilemma Rabbit Hole, and you can find us on YouTube on JSL Live there as well. So thank you again for everything you've been doing. I gotta love it. Stay tuned here on Twitch. Hang tight.